Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. So much to talk about today, from Virat Kohli's blockbuster show in Vadodara last night to, of course, the WPL of a flying start. Let me introduce my guests first. Joining me today is Vaibhav Tripathi, Bharat Ramraj, and Devashish Sen. Bharat, I'll start with you first, and I really want to start off with WPL because we haven't discussed as much as I would have liked. But last night, Nandini Sharma picking up 5 wickets, 4 wickets in the final over of hers. This is some incredible, cricket that we're watching, from Laura Woolward to the opening partnership as well last night. UP Warriors doing really well. Gujarat Giants doing really well. And of course, the first game. Who can forget that last over thriller with Nadine de Klerk pulling off that win for RCB? What are your thoughts? This has been one of the most exciting starts to the WPL.
Yeah, the standard has been quite good in the couple of matches that I saw. Obviously, once I had to go to the tennis stadium as well to cover some tennis. But the couple of matches that I saw, the standard was really good. As we took up Nadine D. Clark's name, I think she has grown in stature as a player. There was a time, maybe even last year, at the start of last year, she was perhaps not even half the player that she is currently. She has confidence in her game, hitting very straight. She hits a lot straight down the ground. That's a change I have seen. Maybe there was a time when she was trying to hit too much over the mid wicket, being a bottom hand player. And don't forget her bowling as well. She uses a lot of cutters. I think the best part of her batting was she didn't lose her cool or didn't kind of get flustered. She took it till the end and then played those shots. So she had that confidence in her game that in the last over she could do it. And obviously, I also have to bring up, if I'm thinking about a foreign player, how to bring up Sophie Devine. I go back in time to 2024 World Cup. Once I jokingly told in a presser, "You are one of the best players of Spain," and she laughed and said, "Thank you." So she showed it again, the kind of player that she is against Spain, smashing Sneirana all over the ground. I think she picks the length really quickly, and the kind of over that she bowled in the last over, the couple of wickets that she took, helping Gujarat Titans to win. Obviously, you took up Nandini Sharma's name. It's great to see so many Indian youngsters coming through the ranks. A very skiddy bowler, has a good back of the hand, slower one, ball stump to stump line. I think she can be useful even for the Indian team because she has a very whippy action. Yeah, there are a couple more. Anushka Sharma. I'm not thinking about the film star. Obviously, I'm thinking about the Indian cricketer because I am saying picking it up because she has been trolled too many times. Whenever BCCI tweets Anushka Sharma, she gets trolled. So she also has made useful contributions. There is Prema Rawat. I think she's someone to look out for. She has that kind of, what can I say, grit or the tenacity to come good under pressure. Fine all-rounder, fields well to bowls, can hit that odd boundary that which he did in that partnership with Nadine de Klerk, that small stand. And obviously, also how to talk about Leslie. Good to see that she's still going quite strong despite retiring from international cricket.
Vaibhav, last night's blockbuster show by Nandini Sharma, picking up those 5 wickets. This WPL has been about the uncapped players, has been about the younger generation that is coming in. The kind of bids that we saw in the auction, you talk about a Diya Yadav, you talk about a Triveni, you talk about G. Trisha. The kind of spotlight that has been given to younger players this time around, especially, I was at the auction, WPL auction, and I had the pleasure of speaking to Abhishek Nair, and he was talking about how he's scouting these young girls, and he's these franchisees have a real eye for raw talent, and we saw that last night. What are your thoughts on it?
See, whether it's WPL, IPL, these are the grooming grounds of young players, uncapped players, and we will see a lot of such players and such performances in the WPL in the upcoming matches as well. This is just a start, and the way it has started, it has only it will grow our expectations that more players will come, and it is good for Indian cricket and world cricket as well. Like the other day, I saw Nicola Carey. The way she performed for Mumbai Indians. I think coming the World Cup, she has given a best shot of for herself to be to make a case for herself in the Australian team. Although it's a very difficult team to get in. But then you have more players who will be giving their performances, and they will be auditioning for themselves, just because there is a T20 World Cup to be played in UK this year. So I think this is good. Again, one would feel for Yastika Bhatia, who has been ruled out. Pooja Vastrakar is another name. The capped Indian players who have been ruled out, because they will not, they will find it tough after this WPL to make a case for themselves and to break into the T20 squad of India. But the way Nandini Sharma bowled, I think these are the players you want to see, because uncapped players are the ones who get the spotlight more in the franchisee competitions, because they are the ones who want to make a name for themselves. Other Smriti Mandana, Harmanpreet Kaur, these are the known players. Deepti Sharma, we know what they are capable of doing. But the players who are uncapped and they do well in these competitions, I think it gives more value to the to the league and to the ones who are watching, because it educates us as well what these players are capable of doing. So I think it's a good start to the WPL, and hopefully more such performances in the upcoming games.
Absolutely. Debashish, when and Weber rightly brings up the domestic leagues that we're seeing in India, with the IPL growing, with the WPL growing, it is a very, and especially with the 2025 World Cup win for the women's team, the kind of future that you're looking forward to when it comes to women's cricket in India, it's incredible. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And with every year, WPL is going stronger and stronger, and more so after India's win in the World Cup, and we can see the crowd turnout in each of the matches so far, and also the following for WPL has grown leaps and bounds, and so that it definitely augurs well. And I think this WPL, it is a perfect platform for youngsters to showcase their talent, given that the T20 World Cup is next year, not next year, in fact, a few months from now. So I think this is a perfect platform for these young girls who haven't got a chance so far to play for India. Yes, and also and mm, getting a chance to play alongside the likes of superstars of world cricket, that also does a world of good. Means we have seen it in IPL, and now we are also witnessing in the WPL. Look at their confidence. It means the confidence they play their game with, and that is because of the fact that they are getting to play with alongside these superstars of world cricket. So someone like a Sophie Devine or a Preet Moni or a Ashley Gardner, means automatically that confidence comes up. Means interacting with them, sharing dressing room, getting their inputs, and automate their technique and the skills, it automatically gets lifted up. So I think it augurs well not only for India but also and given that the following and we have seen, and it will only grow. One thing that I would like to see is perhaps getting a few more teams in WPL way ahead. Means obviously, Frank, means obviously we would love to have a team in Calcutta. Means obviously, and we know how passionate it is for the Kolkata Knight Riders. So the more the teams, the better. But yes, we now have that talent pool. Means more and more girls are coming in to play the domestic cricket. So that is itself a huge success for BCCI.
Absolutely. And when Trisha Ghoshal joins us, who's covering the entire WPL for F Sports, we'll get back to the topic. But right now, Bharat, I really want to talk, and to the rest of my panelists as well, I really want to talk about Virat Kohli. This time around, it seems like this is a new version of Virat Kohli that we're watching. There's no hesitation in his step. There's nothing weighing on his mind. At least it looks like it from the outside. This is a new version, Kohli 2.0. Think about that South Africa match that he played, and Aiden Markram put Marco Jansen right in front of his face at shot cover so that he wouldn't take those singles and doubles, and Kohli goes aerial. This is the kind of Kohli that we're watching. He's not here to prove anything to anyone. Bharat, have you seen or have you noticed that difference in Virat Kohli and the kind of way that he's batting at this moment?
Yeah, he changed his approach. If he has to change his approach, then he has to feel confident about his game. I think that is the main factor to look at. Somewhere he's feeling very confident about his game. I took up the example of how he played at the center of excellence. The couple of games that I watched at those two grounds at the center of excellence. The first one was a good one. But the second one, the way he played on a pitch that was quite tricky, the odd ball was stopping on the batter, and Gujarat had a couple of decent spinners, very decent spinners. One was Vishal Jaiswal, not our SSV Jaiswal, the other Jaiswal, and there was one more off spinner, a couple of spinners, very useful spinners, and he absolutely smashed them. He was playing off the back foot. He was able to go back and pull. He was able to go back and cut. He was able to play those wristy drives, the kind of drives that we used to see somewhere in 2016. It is 2026 now. So that tells you he's somewhere confident about playing spin. And I think that confidence is kind of rubbed off on Kohli's game. And that is what we are seeing against South Africa as well as against New Zealand. Yes, the management or the captain or whoever it is might have said you have to slightly change the approach. But even then, you need to have that kind of confidence to play that way. I think that confidence is coming mainly because of the fact that he's having that kind of self belief against, especially spin bowling. Because there was a time some 3 4 years ago, it felt as if he was struggling to pick the length early against spin. He was caught in the crease, not really going back to play the cut or the short arm jab or whatever you want to call it, or the wristy drive. These shots, you are again seeing it after a while. Even Navdeep Saini said it in one of the interviews that Kohli Bhaiya is again playing those cut strokes or on those lines. So he must have worked hard on his game, and that is why it is showing up. And one has to agree that Kohli is at his very best when he's playing one-day cricket. Nowadays, it's down to only one-day cricket for him, so he can really concentrate on ODIs, and maybe that's also helping him because see what might have been happening in the past was he used to play Test cricket. He was struggling quite a bit for over 3 4 years, and when you are struggling in one format, it can kind of weigh you down in another format as well. That might have happened a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, but now he's only playing one day cricket. I think that also is helping Virat Kohli to some extent.
Absolutely. Vaibhav, Virat Kohli climbing the 28,000 run mountain. The kind of longevity that we've seen from Virat Kohli and him now only playing one format, that exclusivity of performance that we're seeing. Plus, he's performing so well in ODIs. It's almost like every time he's stepping out to bat, it's a treat for the fans. What are your thoughts on the way that Virat Kohli is batting at the moment?
See, I think after the first two matches in the Australia tour, the first two ODIs where he failed, I think you saw the change in the approach from the Sydney ODI, and then he carried that forward in the South Africa ODIs as well. Now I think, given that he's no more a part of the leadership group, obviously he's a leader among the team, but not that label of the captain or vice captain or something like that. Him and Rohit Sharma, I think Rohit Sharma adopted the approach before the after the T20 World Cup in 2022. He adopted that fearless approach that I'll be going after the bowling no matter what happens. In the Champions Trophy, we saw the same last year. But Virat also has, followed the footprints of Rohit Sharma, and now we are seeing the best of Virat. Why we are saying this is the new version of Virat? Because he's taking on the bowlers, he's taking the aerial route early on in his innings, which we were not able to see during his lean patch where 50s were coming, but he was not able to convert those 50s into hundreds because he was being tentative. Even in the first 2 days against Australia, he was being tentative in the power play overs when Rohit or Shubman Gill were getting out. In first 10 overs against the moving ball, he was very tentative. But now you see he's taking the aerial route. He's not afraid of taking the aerial route and finding the boundaries. That's what has changed for Virat Kohli since that Sydney ODI, I would say. So I think this is a fresh Virat, and he has nothing to prove. He knows that. Even yesterday when I was listening to his post-match presentation, he said, I have this gratitude towards the game. It's like a dream come true. When he was asked about his 28,000 landmark, so he was like, I'm living my dream, or something like that. So it tells you a lot about that player, that now he's very clear in his mind how he wants to play. He just wants to enjoy his batting, and when a player wants to enjoy his batting, that's when he gets to his best version. And Virat, we saw what he did in the South Africa ODIs. Even if you look at the dismissal, yesterday I was talking about this in the Hindi show that there was a time in the 2023 World Cup against Bangladesh game, against New Zealand game, when he was criticized for farming the strike. Because he was in his 90s, and there was criticism that Virat is only playing for his 100. He could have easily given the strike to KL or someone else. But yesterday we saw he could have easily scored his 100. But what he did, he tried to clear the mid off. and that tells you that Virat is a very selfless player. He never chases milestone, and that is what changed. He had a set tempo yesterday about his batting, and he wanted to carry on the same tempo in his 90s as well, and that's what he did, and that's why he got out. Otherwise, I don't think he would have easily got to his 100 by nudging singles and doubles. But what he did, because he was in that momentum of finding boundaries and getting to his team early in the victory line, that's what he was trying to do, and he got out. But I this is the version of Virat Kohli we want to see more of, taking the chances early on, finding more boundaries, being more proactive. I think this is the best version of Virat Kohli I have seen in the last 3-4 years.
Trisha Ghoshal also joins us from Navi Mumbai. She's been heading our WPL coverage and has been doing a tremendous job. Before I go to Trisha on WPL once again, Devashish Fitmonk here is saying now the debate should be, will Virat Kohli play the 2031 World Cup? I think let's focus on 2027 right now, guys. But Devashish, Virat Kohli has made it very clear through his performances, through his dedication, showing up to practice sessions early, then the entire team, that he wants to play 2027 World Cup, and doesn't just want to play, he wants to win India that World Cup.
Yeah, and that is what he has been doing. Both he and Virat and Rohit Sharma, they have been in phenomenal touch since that Australia series, and obviously that counter-attacking approach, I think, suits them, suits both Virat and Rohit, and it is reflected on their performances, the runs they have scored so far. But for me, yes, whether this approach will be benefiting them when they travel to England for the white ball series, where the ball moves early on, that will be a thing to watch out for. Yes, when you have ideal batting conditions, yes, and that, and as Bharat rightly said, that obviously that responsibility, that they are no longer the captain, although they are in the leadership group, but that added responsibility of a captain, now that they are not in that role, I think they are playing more freely, and that augurs well for India, not only for them but also for the Indian. And look at the top four with Rohit, Shubman, Virat, and Shreyas, and also KL Rahul. That is an ominous top five to get. Means I think it is perhaps one of the best top five that India has in white ball cricket in recent times, and this is ominous. And look at, if everyone starts firing, invariably India will post in excess of 250 or so, and that is what it is being reflected. Means rather than nudging and taking singles, yes, after the initial attacking mode, Virat is taking those singles as well, as was evident last match as well. He's quite willing, and it has always been the case with Virat that he has always rotated the strike, and that has been the secret of his success so far. Those 28,000 runs he has scored is basically not only with boundaries or over boundary, it is also, and that has come because of his supreme fitness. He is always a supremely fit cricketer, and I think with Virat and Rohit changing their approach, I think it augurs well not only for them but also for the team as well. Gargi.
Trisha, over to you now. I will throw you a couple of questions before I go back to the rest of the panelists. This WPL start has been one of the most exciting starts to the tournament that we've seen in the existence of the Women's Premier League. I think it has been phenomenal, especially the kind of attention that it's getting after the World Cup win. It is something that was waiting to happen. And now that it's finally happened, you have to talk about the quality of cricket. Trisha, talk about the incredible matches, 4 matches that we've seen so far. And, tell us about how the atmosphere has been like. What are the fans saying? Have you seen a change in last year's WPL versus now?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and it was expected, Gargi. I think you and I have spoken about this in our personal chat, of course. But I'll just tell you the last 12 balls of yesterday's game, right? The crowd was cheering from the time that Kashvu was bowling till the time Sophie Devine bowled the last ball. The crowd did not stop screaming. And when Mumbai is playing, clearly the crowd is towards Mumbai. But when Mumbai isn't playing and it's two of the other teams, the crowd is cheering every good shot, every good fielding, every good when Anushka Sharma yesterday stopped that six. The way the crowd cheered. think of think of how it would have affected someone as young as Anushka. One a super important six save, because you never know if that went for a six. Then four more runs conceded, one needed of one ball. Things could have been very different. Um, and the other thing, when you get the entire crowd cheering for you after that, suddenly you feel, I have arrived, I have done something good. So that's there, but also I think that kind of put the pressure on DC batters yesterday, because the crowd was very, very loud in the last 12 balls. As far as I'm concerned, thoroughly enjoying, absolutely enjoying. The crowd, and as soon as the match ends, obviously everyone is running back home because it's quite late. The match is ending quite late, but you can see, the crowd lining up also for the matches. Only I think the afternoon match was a game where we did not see a crowd, which is kind of understandable. It's very hot in Mumbai. For people to turn up in the afternoon is too much of a question. Too much demand from them, to be very honest. But all evening games are completely full of crowds cheering, and they have so much expectation. At times, too much. Yesterday I met a few people who are like, "So is Nandini Sharma going to play the T20 World Cup?" And I'm like, "Let her bowl the rest of the matches. Calm down." So it's something like that. And extremes are expected from Indian fans. So it's perfectly fine as long as they're involved. And about the start, yeah, I thought about, apart from game three, which was DC versus Mumbai, it was all of them were thrillers. It could have gone any way till the last over. Thoroughly enjoying the game. I think yesterday was the game that I was most involved in. But other than that, I enjoyed all the games. Nadine de Klerk, the first game itself was such a setup. It kind of was the perfect setup. It showed where WPL 2026 is going to be, and the other three games has just, again, apart from the Mumbai DC game, I think the other two games has followed suit. Anybody's game, 207. Think of this. In women's cricket, people complain that the game is slow. 200 scores have almost been chased, 200 plus scores. So I think, yeah, overall superb time to be part of women's cricket, superb time to be following women's cricket, and the fact that in my lifetime I'm seeing this, I'm just pleasantly glad. As someone who has been following this game as a kid, has been dreaming of this as a kid, this is just dream come true. And there are times when I just stand there and I just look at the crowd and I'm like, wow, this has happened.
And we never imagined that it would happen like
It
this,
No, of
especially
course
in the
not, of
first
course
day
not.
play. Yeah,
Of course
not
not.
at
We did
all.
not imagine. We wanted it. We hoped for it. We prayed for it. But we worked hard for it. We thought, if we did this, maybe we'll get a few people supporting women's cricket. If we did that, maybe we'll get some people understanding women's cricket. But for these reactions, yeah, absolutely. And I have been completely emotional, overwhelmed, and thoroughly enjoying this.
Absolutely. And, before I go back to the rest of the panelists, I was chatting to them. The first few rounds of questions were about WPL, but you were stuck in some work. But I was chatting to them about the kind of spotlight that younger players have gotten this time around, uncapped players during the WPL auction as well. I think more than Deepti Sharma's bid, I think we ended up talking about the uncapped players. When you look back on this, Diya Yadav, Anushka Sharma, Kashvi Gautam, the younger lot, and Ashley Gardner said something last night in that post-match presentation, and I think she said something along the lines of overseas players make these competitions, but Indian players win you these competitions. And that was a very, very pertinent point from Ashley Gardner. Your thoughts on this, Trisha?
Would it be too much to call out Ashley Gardner on her hypocrisy a little? Because while she has said this, I understand the quote, but I don't understand why not practice something that you preach? Because clearly Gujarat Giants does not practice that. I did understand promoting Ashley Gardner yesterday. I will never understand promoting Georgia Wareham ahead of Anushka Sharma, especially after that Anushka Sharma innings. Um, And then for Ashley Garner to come and say this, it's a little funny, to be honest. But yes, I completely agree. Ultimately, you have just four overseas players. They're going to be your big impact players, no doubt. But if you look at the DCGG game, for example, you will see that, again, the overseas players did the bulk of scoring for both the teams. The overseas players, in fact, Sophie Devine bowled the last over. Kashmi went for a lot of runs. Everything said and done, it was a Sri Charni who actually changed the game completely for DC. Because otherwise, they were going to end up for the 250, 260 yesterday. And it was then Jemima flying high who took that catch. It was again on Jamima and Sneha Rana to end the game. Clearly, Marizane couldn't. So yes, it depends a lot on Indian players. If India, for example, if you look at MI, I think they have performed well and won two titles again on their overseas players, the performance. But the small contributions from Kamalini winning small moments last year to Amanjot Kaur doing well. It has been about Indians because you have seven Indians in that playing 11 and 11 and four overseas players. So the impact wise, probably, if you look at analysis wise, you will see that it's the overseas players still contributing. But if you see the small moments, you will see it's the Indian players who change it. And I'm repeating again. I thought Anushka Sharma completely changed that with that change. Sorry, with that fielding. I thought Jemmy could have batted better and not played that weird stroke that she tried, and the result would have been our way. But as I said, I would still like all the teams, especially Gujarat Giants, to be a less more dependent side on overseas players and give a little more confidence to their Indian players. If you believe in the fact that Indians are the ones who are going to win the game for you, then definitely you have to back them a lot more. I think what she said depends. I mean, what she said was more in relation to the fact that Gujarat's bowling unit, in general, is an Indian bowling unit. In general, if you take Sophie Devine away and Georgia Wareham, Ashley Gardner both have been suffering quite a lot in the bowling department. So definitely that's more dependent on a Renuka, a little on Kashmi. So I think she said in that way. But yeah, I do think that Indian core. Think of Asha Shobna as batting. Gargi, did you know Asha Shobna bats that well? That
No.
that exactly that innings is superb. And can you think
Yeah,
of this? India needs a leg spinner going into the World Cup. Asha Shobna has all the varieties in the book, and then add to that her batting. You
yeah,
have a
exactly.
perfect, absolutely.
All right. Final couple of questions, and then we can close the show. Starting with you, Bharat. There's a question for you here. Arit Trade is asking, Bharat sir, do you think RCB should open with Gautami Nayak and drop Grace Harris at 3 or 4 so that she can control the middle order? And what's your opinion on Radha playing at number 5?
See, perhaps someone else is more qualified to answer this question. But having said that, see, Grace Harris is someone I always felt can give you quick starts, is someone who has that game at the top of the order. So if you ask me, I even watched her in the one of the WPLs. Maybe it was for UP Warriors. She was really playing those scintillating knocks. I think she should be somewhere at the top of the order because in T20 cricket generally in the power play itself, many games have been decided. The outcome of the games, I've seen that in T20 cricket. That is based on analysis as well, data as well tells that power play overs are very very important. So I'm not very sure about that because she's someone who can provide those quick starts at the top of the order.
All right. Yes, Trisha.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. While I completely agree with Bharat, but at the same time, I think um, I will have Georgia Wall come in place of Lindsay Smith, have Wall open with Smriti, get Gautami Nayak at 3, get Grace Harris at 4, Richa at 5, Nadine de Klerk at 6, and then the rest of the batters, if needed, can come.
Yep. Vaibhav, you can take this one. I want Virat to break Sachin's record of highest number of ODI runs in a calendar year, 1890, 1894. Oh, 1894. I thought this he was mentioning the year, and I was like, no, maybe that's not the right year. But anyway, sadly, teams are not playing many ODIs these days, but maybe in 2027, we will play more, around 30. Web of Virat breaking Sachin's record.
See the way he's batting, he can break any records. You know, yesterday he missed on 300s on the bounce. He scored 200s against South Africa. Yesterday he missed out one, but I'm sure there will be more hundreds in the coming upcoming matches. Whatever games India will play in the ODI format, and see again it comes down to the player and the hunger that Virat is showing. I'm sure, but he's not chasing records. He's not chasing milestones. All what he's chasing is the World Cup. He wants to win another World Cup for his country, and that's what what is motivating him to even play the Vijay Hazare Trophy as well. But otherwise, there is no need. See, Virat is undoubtedly one of the best. We compare Virat and Sachin, batters of two different generations. Who is the better or who is the best ODI batter of all time? But the way Virat has dominated this format, I haven't seen any other batter has done, because obviously when Sachin, when I started watching cricket, Sachin was at his at the fag end of his career. So I couldn't watch Sachin at his peak of the time when he scored 1894 runs. I couldn't watch that yet, but I have seen Virat dominating best some of the best teams in the world: Australia, South Africa, best ODI teams in the world. So Virat is definitely on the cusp of breaking a lot of Sachin records, but it just, I think, as a fan, rather than seeing someone's record to be broken, it's about celebrating that player and the matches, whatever matches that he's going to play for his country, because we know, and even Virat knows, that this is the last of him. 2027 will be his last, and it's about seeing and enjoying whatever he's offering to us. We would love to see big knocks, we would love to see big hundreds, but at the same time, it's not about, I would say, let's not just compare, and let's not wait for him to break Sachin's record or the others record. It's even Virat doesn't want to feel that way, that I would be breaking this guy's record or that guy's record. It's about him playing his role to perfection, and him scoring runs for his team, and him winning matches for his team.
All I'm going to say is savor these moments while you have it.
Exactly.
Savor them. Even if yesterday Virat, everyone in that stadium wanted to see him get that 100. There was a little kid who had a poster which said, if Virat doesn't score 100, I will not eat for a week. He got out at 94, but I'm going to say, even if that's a 94, that's a moment to cherish. All right, last question to Debashish. KL Rahul deserves the same attention like Virat Kohli. Yesterday, he was the man who took us through the line at the moment. Our heart was pumping like anything. We spoke about this, Debashish, didn't we, last night?
Yeah, and that is what is expected of a senior player. Means obviously, but I was little bit baffled to see him batting at number 6. I would have loved to see him bat at number 5 ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. Means clearly, KL Rahul is your number 5 batter. Means in white ball format, and then to be, and I don't know what is the logic behind and what is fascination about left hand right hand combination, and because of which Jadeja was sent ahead of KL Rahul, but. And it was overdue, long time overdue, to see KL Rahul playing that calm and composed role, taking India home with so much of pressure, with Washington Sundar struggling at the other end. So that is what is expected of a senior pro. And yes, much of the attention has always been on Virat Kohli and the Rohit Sharma and the Shubman Gill, but you should also not underestimate KL Rahul. Given his experience he brings into the table in this Indian team. So yes, I also totally agree with Fitmong. Yes, KL Rahul also deserves the same attention as much as Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in this Indian team.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was lovely to chat with you all. And to everyone who sends us questions and interacts with us, don't forget to also like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And Trisha, looking forward to your coverage as well. Hopefully, I can have you back for another show, because I love the women's cricket conversations that we have. But thank you so much, everyone. We'll